There we go. All right. And three,
God, it looks soulless.
2. Hey, everybody, and welcome to the House of Holocrons podcast. You may notice a bit of change. That is because, of course, it is Mike's birthday today. So
Happy birthday!
so Mike got the night off, and I got my other Star Wars resident nerd and friend, Robert.
Hi.
All right, now the most important question. You've seen the 11th episode, yes?
I've seen the 11th episode.
All right. For those of you who
Good, 'cause
haven't,
that's all we're talking
yeah,
about.
for those of you who haven't, I'm sorry, this is not the podcast for you. Who knows how many topics this might just spawn? But I can tell you right now, we will mostly be talking about episode 11, the crazy things that go on, and a lot of speculation about Luthen Rawl.
Yeah. Who is he?
Right. But before we get into that, we can't dive into the dessert yet.
I know. We got to get over the rest of it.
As a lot of people are saying, the fun joke is that the show starts with a cliffhanger, literally. We have Cassian, and I always remember his name, and now I just didn't.
It's because you remember it all the time.
Yeah.
Don't look at me.
Miral.
There you go.
It sounds like a Pokemon. Yeah, Miral. He is apparently unable to climb back up the cliff as they've been like hiding from Imperial scouts, and his arms are so tired from hanging there, which I can't even imagine. And one slip and he dies. So that was crazy. Immediate suspense. Even though like we know they live, this show has done a really good job of making me feel suspense in a moment of still uncertainty of danger for their well-being without like fearing for their life.
Well, yeah, because there's still like 5 years to go, and we don't know what happens to him during that time.
Yeah.
So he could get caught and put in another prison.
He gets caught again and put in another prison would be hilarious. I imagine he's probably going to end up with Saw in this next episode or something, because he has to get some connection with Saw, and he needs to get into like the rebel army more or less. Any speculations yourself, Robert, on where it might be going?
Honestly, even though that we're starting out at the very beginning of the episode, I am going to jump close to the end because I think that gives us some perspective on that.
Okay.
So for those of you who don't know, I work in mental health. So emotions, trauma, all sorts of stuff like that. That's my shit. I love that stuff. And right at the very end of the episode, we see grief. Immense grief all over Cassian's face. And that very well could be the driving factor, because for the longest time, Cassian hasn't really identified himself as a member of a resistance or a rebellion or anything like that. He's just trying to survive, trying to get through, and trying to come out on the other side just alive.
Mm-hmm.
His mom just died.
Yeah.
And now he has motivation.
Mm-hmm. And her last motivations herself could bleed into him. Yeah. Him going back, which he will, of course, and they're all correct, and it's going to be like this. They're all going to meet there, and it's going to be
it's going to be
Western, or it's going to be a Mexican showdown. I don't know how I keep method. It's been a day. All of that aside, though, yes. Speaking of emotion, though, B2, the droid. The amount of emotion that this droid has the ability to push out.
It's more fitting now that his name is B2 Emo.
Yeah, B2 Emo. But he's a very sad droid, and he's very unsure of himself. But the acting of the CGI team and the animatronics team and whatever they used for this droid in particular was stellar. Like, you could tell he also hasn't had a memory wipe in a long time, like R2 style, because he has a lot of personality.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That grief's gonna definitely lead. Yeah, I look forward to him going back to Ferrix and the Empire ending up fighting probably against Luthen, because everyone's gonna try and show up back there to either save, capture, or kill Cassian.
Mm-hmm. And we've only got the one episode left to be able to give us that exact answer.
Yeah,
and we have a second season coming too, right?
Yes, there is a second season. Do you think that Cyril will live through the series?
I don't think Luthen will.
What? Shut up. I hate that.
I don't think
Yes, he has to die because you don't see him in anything else, and he would be a prominent figure like Mon Mothma had the rebel army become big. You you shut your mouth.
I'm
That's
just
true.
saying
I
what
mean,
I think. I think it's gonna be Luthen that goes.
It's not a bad point. It's not a bad
They
point.
just set him up for greatness, and they're gonna take him away.
I see two things with Cyril actually.
Okay.
The first one that I see is he's already put himself on the radar of the ISB.
Mm.
He's all over that.
Oh yeah.
And he's also all over the radar of stuff that happened. I can't remember the planet.
Ferrix.
Ferrix, yeah. He is all over that.
Mm-hmm.
He is a prime figure in that. So he's put himself in the middle, whether he realizes it or not.
Oh.
And whenever you put yourself in the middle when the Empire's involved, there's two outcomes: death or you disappear.
Yeah. He's not going to work for the
which-
IBS. And
No.
Deidre is not going to become
ISB.
his IBS. Nice.
Yeah, you don't want to work for the Irritable Bowel System.
Yeah, no one wants to work there. Shit hours. But yes, Deidre is she might be infatuated to a degree with his obsession, but still weirded out
because
entirely
I think
by
she
it.
sees what he can be, like what she can use him for.
Yeah, use him. That's that. She is a Imperial agent. That's her number one thing that she can do is use people.
She's probably using him to find Andor.
Yeah.
Because he has such a drive and he has such a want to find Andor because of what he did to him. He's going to do everything he can to find him and not use the resources that the Empire has, but use the resources that are available to him and find him in a different way faster.
Yeah. It's definitely going to end in a lot of shooting, and there's going to, I expect a lot of drama and buildup, and then a huge, cork popping kind of moment in which everything just goes haywire. Tits up, and explosions, gunfire, crashing ships, probably another ship battle. So,
dude.
Yeah, so Andor has escaped, though. He did get his box back.
Nobody
checked above the shower.
I was so happy that his stuff was still there, but
Not a single person.
And he sneaks in while a couple's in there.
Yeah, I wonder if it was the same girl.
It looked
I
like
couldn't
an
tell.
alien.
I saw an alien dude.
I saw an alien.
I saw an
too.
alien thing. I saw aliens. Okay, yeah, there we go.
I don't know if it was a Quarren or not, but
I don't know if it was a Quarren, but yes, definitely what looked more of an aquatic species.
yeah.
Well, there was the tentacly one,
But
and then one with
above.
kind of grayish orange.
No
skin.
one looked above the shower, really.
Mm-hmm.
You know how many aliens are taller than humans? I guess they wouldn't get a room like that though if they were that tall.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna be. Do you look above a shower whenever you go to a hotel?
Not a fair question. I'm a maintenance man.
And not a fair question to me because I'm paranoid.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, there we go. If you're
all kinds of stuff you'll find. Literally,
just
look at the
regular
vents.
people on vacation, you're not gonna look at that shit. You're
Yeah.
just gonna go, okay, cool, I'm here. Okay, we're going to the beach. Cool.
True. But that's that he does get his stuff. He gets out. Him and Meryl kind of part ways as they need to. Meryl is 100% on. We need to let the world know what's going on at this prison. Send some more people there to help. This is ridiculous, and that'll probably be maybe in season 2. That'd be awesome. I'm down for that.
Maybe Meryl's his in for Saw.
Yeah, he's gonna show up somehow. He has to.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we see him in Rogue One.
Yes,
so
exactly.
He's there all the way.
And they're a very close partnership in Rogue One, so they trust each other. They seem like they've probably been on a few missions together.
Oh
That's
yeah,
at
they're
least the
trauma
vibe.
bonded.
Exactly.
They're definitely trauma bonded.
Especially through Saw. Saw's tactics would trauma bond battalions very easily.
Oh yeah.
But then yes, we get on to Cyril finding out that Luthen's going to be there because Luthen's mother has died from the
Who's mom? Andor's mom.
Andor's mom. There's a lot of knowledge in my head I'm mixing up. And thank you. But yeah, so Andor's mother is dead. So he's alerted. Cyril is alerted by the old security sergeant who is now working in the mines on a night shift.
On a different planet, right?
I don't know because Ferrix is also a mining planet.
I don't know.
So it might be Ferrix.
Whatever planet that all of this started out on, it wasn't Ferrix. I don't remember what it was.
Though. True enough.
Yeah, that sergeant is definitely still on that original planet.
Yeah.
I thought it was Ferrix that it started on.
It was a different planet. Ferrix is where his mom lived, and so he ended up traveling to his mom. He's like, "Mama, I need help."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we get into more people kind of figuring out where Luthen's going to be. But the most important one is Luthen. Luthen figures out where he's going to be. And he starts talking about how he has to go there and how he needs to like leave from what he was doing. Looking for a current relic. More or less, that means talking to a person. Probably was still around the planet where Saul was in orbit. And then, boom. An Imperial class Arbiter ship shows up. And these are high recon, good tractor beam ships meant for like more or less patrolling hyperspace lanes. Well, this ship, scans him, starts to do its thing. He's just sketchy enough. He's got the right answers. He has a very valid excuse. He has a Alderaanian passcode generated by his AI, which again, ship AI. This one's dope.
Dude,
this is an awesome ship AI.
This one gives me like High Republic vibes.
Oh yeah.
Like just kind of the way he's talking to it and everything. It gives me those vibes, especially after reading everything.
Yes.
With the books.
It's a ship we've never seen before, and it's a ship I personally want now.
Yeah, the Fondor is chef's kiss.
That is the name. Oh, even better, the Fondor.
I looked up the planet name for the original stuff. It's Morlina.
Morlina. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, Morlina.
Morlana.
So then, but yes, he gets in a altercation with this ship, and is pretty much running decoy and just stretching things out until he can get his countermeasures fully armed.
He is so flawless with everything.
Oh,
he's
got
just
it
like
all.
calm, collected, do this thing. AI takes over. He's playing in something else, and then he just goes.
Now, so the first countermeasure, back opens up, and I don't think he really fires. I think he just jettisons something and allows the tractor beam to just suck it in.
Yeah, he did.
It was like metal shards or like spikes.
It was probably trash.
Yeah.
Like metal trash.
Yeah, it was just scraps.
We literally see Obi-Wan Kenobi do that in the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Just jettison the spare parts.
Mm-hmm. It's a brilliant measure.
Yeah.
But no one thinks about that because it's gonna be dangerous to you if you were to fly back into it.
To me, though, I figured they must have been like spikes or projectiles, just because it looked like it opened up like one of those ancient Chinese and Korean firing mechanisms for like arrows and javelins. But regardless, though, it shot a lot of things at very quick range into the satellite, destroying it, absolutely annihilating it. Because, of course, that's the beauty of space. Lasers are good, but solid objects travel at the speed they are given till they hit something.
Yep. and plus, it being caught in the tractor beam at stage 5, I think, is what they
exactly. It's just full accelerating.
Faster.
Just shoot.
Yep.
And it won't miss because it's going to the target.
It's something he very clearly had ready.
Yes, he knew about this.
In case something like this happened.
Yep.
Escaping from the tractor beam, he flies off. That's when we finally get the TIE fighters scramble. And he uses a top cannon to annihilate one of the big TIE. I think it was one of the TIE Avengers.
Single shots.
Single shot. I can't remember if it's called a Vanguard or an Avenger, but it's like the one that like Darth Vader had almost, because it's the dual cylinder TIE fighter instead of the single cockpit one. So he takes that out first, knowing, of course, that's the big gun. You got to go there first. Swings around and does one of the coolest things I've ever seen in Star Wars now. The dude has a lightsaber ship. Activates 2 lasers by his panels raised, does a flip through space, just rotating corkscrew style, and lasers these 2 ships, blow up, hyperspace coordinates found, jumps, and it just, the last moment you see is just the Imperial guy standing there looking out of the screen like,
how am I going to explain this?
Time to get demoted.
Yep. What was even better is he was being a dick about it in the beginning, towards the end there, because he was like, no, who cares? Bring him in. I don't care if his things. We need to practice. We're gonna search him anyway.
He got cocky.
Yeah.
If he would have just been like, "Oh, okay, cool. These coordinates work," it would
He
have been
hadn't
fine.
been Imperial.
Or these codes work.
If he had not been an Imperial dog, he would have been fine.
Another example is someone doing their job, but this time it fucks them over.
Yeah. It was absolutely stunning to see Luthen just like annihilate all these things. So there are 2 major theories. There, of course, are many, many more, but to me, there are the 2 major theories about Luthen. Either he is Force sensitive, maybe even an ex-Jedi, or that Luthen served greatly in either the Clone Wars or a private part of the Clone Wars from a different like private planetary defense, and it's just a long record of insurrection fighting and stuff like that. Because of course he cannot be a like Republic great commander. Republic hasn't been at war since before the High Republic.
Right.
There's a third option that I really enjoy. That he was on Naboo.
Yes.
That he fought in Naboo, and that's how he has all that skill.
That is a personal fun one that me and you thought of. What if Luthen Rail is one of the N1 starfighter pilots from Naboo that helps Anakin destroy the Trade Federation's battle station? And that's why he has such amazing reflexes, because the N1 starfighters are, as we found out with the Mandalorian, the last hand-built starfighters and some of the fastest in the entire galaxy.
You have to have some crazy reflexes to fly those.
Yep.
Better than A-wings.
Yeah, and this
100%.
dude is able to like, and it's almost like an A-wing style / almost like a speeder, like a snow speeder, because the wings go from here to like this when he's doing the laser, but they're mostly out to a side station.
That looked more like a it's the, you see it in Star Wars Squadrons, the TIE variant that's that support class. It's a lot like the U-wing.
Oh, yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. But they're very flat, and then the big wing,
yeah. It reminded me a lot of that, and especially in a lot of the countermeasures that came into play, a lot of the defensive mechanisms.
True.
Because if we really looked at the Fondor, it's not an offensive ship. It is purely defensive and made to get the hell out of there.
Yeah, it is to keep Luthen alive.
Very much so. But I actually have a different theory. Not much to back it off.
Yeah.
When I say it's a theory, it's a very rough hypothesis. What if Luthen was a separatist spy?
Separatist spy, okay.
Just something a little bit different, because if he was somebody that was put on Coruscant very early on, but trained constantly for subterfuge, sophistry, and just general mayhem,
right,
it would make sense why he already has these contacts, and then his old enemies can become his allies, which would also explain stuff we see with Saw,
right,
stuff
especially
we see with Krieger.
Yeah, now especially with the Empire taking over, they all have an allied enemy.
Yeah.
They can all take down the Empire.
And he would already have a distrust of the Empire.
Oh, he would hate him. Yeah, he hated the Republic government.
Yeah.
He's not gonna like the Imperial government,
right?
Maybe he's from Sereno.
Goosebumps.
Ooh, yeah, ties to Count Dooku.
That would be nice.
So I like both of those. The other reason I have, though, for the Naboo theory is because he has Padme's headdress, which we talked about last episode.
He did have Padme's headdress. Now, of course, he is, again, an antique dealer. He also had a Jedi Temple guard mask.
I know.
Was he a Jedi Temple guard?
So you know.
Because after the Jedi Temple took over, the Palpatine made that his Imperial Palace.
Yeah.
It is very hard. He took all the artifacts.
Right.
So I feel like that'd be very hard to get a Jedi Temple guard mask.
It strikes me as weird to have her exact headdress.
Yes.
And have it prominently displayed.
Mandalorian armor. Maybe he's a Mandalorian. Maybe he's an
See, the
ex-Imperial.
Mando armor makes sense because it's just a random Mando armor. The Jedi thing makes sense because it's a prominent thing from the historical time from Coruscant. But Padme's headdress, it doesn't fit to me to have it unless he knows who it is and her position and what she means to everything.
Or it's a sign of rebellion.
That could also be a signal, because one of the things that, I mean, if you've ever studied anything that has to do with good old underground communication systems, you have little things like that display you as part of XYZ. Usually it's done with just a simple little mark, or something's turned a little bit differently, something that's very, very subtle.
Hobo language.
But if
have you ever seen that? That's crazy.
Yeah, and that could be something that comes into play there. That could be his billboard sign per se, because there were very few people that would recognize Padme as a figurehead for the possible rebellion, but everybody that has ever seen Star Wars recognizes that Padme, Mama of Leia.
Yeah.
There's an obvious connection.
Well, and not to mention, too, with Padme, I wish they had never cut this scene out of Episode 3. There is that scene in Episode 3 that was cut, but fully shot, of Bail Organa, Padme Amidala, Mon Mothma, and plenty of other senators actually meeting in Padme's apartment to discuss the ideas of rebellion early on, before the Empire even fully became a thing, because they were so scared and knew that Palpatine was going for this. So,
which would make sense why Mon Mothma would be okay with everything if she saw Padme's thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But then I also do like the fun idea that he is ex-Imperial. Maybe Luthen Rael is like a he used to be like a high up Imperial agent or something, and then he retired to the ideas of relics and stuff, because that's one of the few jobs, but it's very well mentioned that Palpatine and Vader, because of being Sith, of course, they have a Imperial museum, and the director of that museum constantly is hunting down artifacts for them.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe he used Rail for a while or something like that, but that's also mostly from the comics.
Yeah.
Regardless, though, Luthen Rael is the father of the rebellion. 100%. Yeah. I give Luthen Rael all support for being the reason the rebellion as an army, as a force to be reckoned with, was ever possible.
Mm-hmm.
He did all the footwork and was able to really push a lot of people to believe and follow him into these crazy, almost suicide-like missions. I mean, Aldhani would have been nuts for anyone to have pulled off who didn't have a lot of honest backing and really good talking skills.
I mean, honestly, Aldhani would have been even nuts for a Jedi.
Yeah. That's a lot of people to fight, trying to exit through that storm. I mean, the kid was definitely force sensitive, but, you know, now he's just one with the force, so it doesn't matter.
So let me ask you this.
Okay.
Do you think we're going to find out Luthen's identity at the end of the next episode?
God,
if
I hope
he
so.
dies like this evil woman once,
no, I don't want
then,
it. I don't want that.
Yeah, I hope so. I want to know everything about him. But at the same notion, if they do kill him off, or if there is like a huge send off for him in a degree, I could see it being like maybe a small hint or something tiny, but not much to tease for his return, or just to leave it open for the sake of leaving it open.
We also need to tie in the fact of the very first thing we saw with Luthen. The crystal.
Dude, yeah, that's right. That? The Kyber crystal. Mm-hmm. And he talks about the Rakatan Empire.
Exactly. So he has to have some kind of like maybe Jedi experience. Well, that's really tying the Jedi.
But he also knows history because he's an artifact dealer.
What if he worked in the archives as a civilian?
Maybe. Or as an initiate. Initiates are people who got into the Jedi Order in the beginning, but they were not force sensitive or were not able to control themselves enough to actually imbue themselves to the force, and they are not...
To be a knight.
Yeah, to be a knight and to actually graduate into Padawanship and all that fun stuff. So they literally just work as like cleaners, housekeepers, and stuff like that, but are allowed to stay within the Jedi Temple for free.
That would make sense.
It could be that. Yeah. Because that's the thing, is like, it says, a lot of people say the best pilots and those who can do really amazing things, like just random gambling people with them, great luck, that's because they're force sensitive.
And the reason I say that, though, is because I feel like the Rakatan Empire stuff would have been very, like, selective knowledge.
Yeah.
You would have had to have a high degree or some kind of money to be able to learn this kind of stuff.
Just from that long ago?
Yeah. Because it's so long ago, it's such a lofty idea, not everybody's going to know that off the street.
Yeah. And
I might have a clue as to who he is.
Yeah.
Let's think back a little bit. Who knew about the culture of the Ones?
Like the Wills?
Yeah, not the Wills. The Ones. The father, the son, the daughter.
Oh,
who knew about them as a culture? Because he has pieces.
Yeah, there are pieces of it there.
He has them in the back.
What was that?
In the very back, and you hardly see them. It was Lothal, but there were others. So who knew about them?
I can't remember who knew about the Celestials and the one and the father and the son and the daughter. I can't remember of like a specific race, but I know that we were talking about there was someone who like there were a few races that revered them and knew of them, but there was one that like specifically did it.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, we know he's not a Sith initiate.
Yeah.
No.
Because if he was a Sith initiate, he'd be dead.
Yeah, Palpatine would have found that out somehow. He would have sniffed it out like
an Inquisitor.
Or yeah, the Inquisitors or Vader. Someone would have figured something out.
Right.
Now I want to look it up. I want to go back and rewatch it.
Yeah, we got to look at what was that? It's not Tython. Mortis. Mortis is the planet that the ones lived on.
Yep.
That would be crazy.
Yeah, because I keep forgetting he has those the panels in the background,
Yeah.
and they kind of show him a little bit more in this episode. Whenever I can't remember her name, but when she goes to the shop and she's talking to the assistant,
Valley.
Yeah. But you see him in the background, and then there's one big circle one.
Yeah.
I want to get a closer look on that
To
one.
me, though, also, again, I just always go back to the fact that Lothal, that wall was destroyed by the Empire, obviously, so it wouldn't be hard for him to get scraps of it. They would have gotten rid of it immediately. The people that's where you got to think of the black market trade for these items. Like I was recently watching a podcast where someone was talking about going through so many underground measures to buy something that was supposed to apparently be destroyed because it was like World War II stuff. So it's crazy. The black market that exists to smuggle and move items. And that's how all relic traders get their stuff.
That's how, yeah.
But it's just no one bats an eye once it's in the shop because they're like, okay, they're so rich, the only people who come in here won't care.
Exactly.
That's the beauty of it, though. There are so many loose ties to Luthen. So the show gave us Cassian, who we know.
Yeah.
Meryl, who we know. We
Mon.
haven't met, well, we haven't met any of the other people, though, that we know specifically will be through to Rogue One and really move on. But Luthen is like the first person who we've attached to, I feel, really, really hard that we know nothing about. It is this new blood, this new character. It's not Mon Mothma even. Yeah, like I said, Mon. Like, we know a lot about Mon Mothma. People love Mon Mothma. The only other person who's really like a constant for affection from fans is Bix. But now it's just sad. Now it's just like that poor woman is just like, oh, man. If nothing else, that'll also send Cassian hopefully into a good fit to like deal with some of these Imperial bastards. Because she got shattered by this.
Yeah, because he only has two loves, really. His mom and his mom's dead.
Yeah.
And now Bix.
Yep.
And Bix is
shattered.
psychologically destroyed.
Oh, dude, mentally dead.
I've got a really bad feeling about Bix in the next episode.
Suicide?
No.
I don't think Disney would show it.
Using her as a tool to get Andor and then probably killing her.
Oh, yeah.
I could see that. Star Wars is not averse to that.
Not to that part. Yeah.
Nope.
the self-inflicted, they're a little, people stick away from that. It's even not good to say it on YouTube, but.
No, I could definitely see her being a casualty in that, like, caught in the crossfire kind of thing.
He's good. This next episode, more or less, is going to be Andor's motivation to 100% destroy the Empire. Like, this is going to be everything he thinks he has left is going to crumble. I wouldn't be surprised if even his mother's house gets destroyed somehow in all of this. Like, I think he's going to lose everything.
And then he's just going to have the droid part and take that and make it
he's going to use... Yeah, B2's going to get destroyed. Sad. And then he's going to use that part. He's going to find a broken down Imperial droid, and he's going to make his buddy.
Please, I need
That's
K2.
K2SO. And then we'll get Alan Tudyk.
Yay!
I mean, oh god, I miss that. I love Alan Tudyk as an actor.
Yes.
Plain and simple. So, there is... Oh, man, I just had it and I lost it.
That's the best part about all of this, isn't it?
Right?
Hey, don't worry. The like 5 people won't mind.
Oh, yeah. Now, I will say this, and this is just because I enjoyed this scene.
Yes.
About six
many
minutes
good scenes.
into 6 minutes into episode 11,
Okay.
we see what's his name? Starts with an M, and Andor trying to
Meryl.
board this ship while Meryl,
Oh, yeah.
while there are 2 aliens out there fishing.
Yes.
I loved this scene.
It was so well done.
It was.
Yeah.
That like glimmer of hope, and then shot by nets, and they're like, crap, we're gonna be
Butchered.
given back
Or eaten.
or sent back to the prison.
Or sent back to the prison, yeah.
Yeah, and then we see we have no love for the Empire.
Yeah. Oh, aliens especially.
Oh no!
Aliens especially hate the hell out of the Empire because they just get round up and sent to slave labor camps. No, they don't even hide that.
Well, and the main part of this is that their planet's being destroyed by these prisons.
Yeah.
So they're losing all of their food. They were talking about that in the to them.
Yes.
They're like, our water's gone. Like, we cannot hunt. We can't do anything.
It's crazy, and I'm not surprised with what's going on and how like the alien races would be responding to this. What I mostly was surprised though is how they weren't trying to at least like get in for the bounty. That means it's already like immediately that much hate from alien species onto the Empire that they don't even care about trying to get funds from this reward, because they even say that they even mention the reward from sitting back prisoners. But they're like, nah.
And it's a good reward.
It's a good reward, but they say no, screw it.
Mhm.
And then they get in that awesome old quad jumper that looks like it's from the old Republic. Like that thing looks like it's at least 1,000 years old.
And the fact that it just sputters and then drags in the water and then eventually takes off. I love that. It reminds me of driving my car.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. Exactly. The check engine light's always on. That's how I know it's working.
Exactly. So now let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Did you see in the background, and this might actually tie into Jess's theory here about Luthen being from Naboo.
Okay.
Did you see the Gungan shield?
Yes, oh, yeah, I've seen the Gungan shield. It was an episode, it was one of the first ones with him. He has a Gungan shield. He has a whole bunch of Wookiee stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like yeah, he does.
But I love because the other thing beside Amidala's headdress, I believe, is still the Wookiee battle headdress.
Yes.
And of course we have Starkiller's
and
helmet.
There's the Calicori, the metal Calicori. So that was kind of cool because normally they're wood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sadly I didn't get a chance today to look up the Easter egg stuff to kind of really dive into the Easter eggs. But there's always some. As always, I'll highly support my friends Darth Chaco and Diet in the Force. Those guys will definitely have Easter egg videos out. But no, this one was really good. The series has been really good. I'm not at all going to be surprised if the finale is, again, some of the absolute best Star Wars we've seen in the last
that last episode was brilliant. It had, like, the daring escape, the alien stuff, talking to them. How is he going to get back, or get out of all this, then getting pulled back in because of his mom, and then the fucking space battle.
Yeah. It was such good Star Wars. It had all the things people wanted, where we have a little intense action, we have lights that go boom, and we have, it was almost a lightsaber. It was a ship. But
also, I want to bring in Mon Mothma's stuff with her daughter. I was kind of right. She's wanting to do all this.
Oh, yeah.
She wants to do stuff for her culture, and it's really kind of telling that it's all these kids that are on Coruscant away from the planet.
That stuff was cult. That was a cult, right? Like, you especially, as someone who knows, that was a cult. Whatever that enchanting stuff was.
That's tradition.
Yeah.
That is tradition through and through. And those, that's actually exactly where I wanted to go with this next thing. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Good job. Like, I've got the video right here, and I'm just scrolling through it. Just be like, what's a good one? That's a good one. That situation right there was very much something that is right up Mothma's alley. You can tell that this is definitely Mothma's kid, Lita. Because Lita, instead of going exactly and following what Mothma's doing, she is going in a different direction, but she's putting the same amount of energy, the same amount of care, the same amount of compassion into that area. And you can see that on her face. And you can also see that disdain that Lita has for her mom whenever she looks at her like, you shouldn't be doing this. Don't do it.
Which makes her just feel so much more into doing it.
Oh,
if she had at all told her about the proposition to marry that crime lord's son, or to at least meet him, she would have been down in a heartbeat, just because her mother would have hated it.
Yeah. Well, and I think also because of the not being on their home planet, they're trying to find some connection to it. So they're going full bore into their old traditions, even though their parents are kind of like, we're not on the planet, we don't have to do all this anymore. Now they're going full bore into it, because I think Vala says, like, they are way more into it than they are back home.
Yeah. But that would make sense, though. I mean, I could totally see a bunch of senators' children who have lineage and are supposed to have, homage and tradition from this planet they've never probably seen, because their parent has been a senator their whole life. Like, how many times have they gone back to Chandrilla? I'm sure a few times, but Mon definitely spends most of her time living on Coruscant.
Yeah, I mean, looking at that situation right there, what I see is a immigrant parent, or first generation immigrant parent in an entirely different country, trying to run away from that culture because that culture was damaging, or that culture was under fire for whatever reason. We saw that during and I'll just bring up some history because we're all history nerds here too. Post World War II, one of the things that we saw a lot in the U.S. was a lot of German immigrants coming into play and German culture disappearing. It's part of the reason why you don't see that many Oktoberfests in the U.S.
Yeah.
German culture was vilified just the same as Japanese culture was at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is a lot of what I'm kind of seeing is that same perspective of the kid looking at this glorified tradition and going, I should do this. I should do this for my ancestors, whatever the purpose is. And that pattern is just plain and clear to me as somebody who loves history and loves people.
Yeah. No, yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
I think, but no, it's been some of the best writing we've had. Period, hands down for Star Wars. Mandalorian's amazing, but it relies a lot on no writing, him being the faceless hero and action, which is good. It's still amazing.
It's gonna need more coming up, but
It'll have it. I know it'll have it. The writing's been so good. I highly believe in this. But I think this finale is going to really change a lot of people's perspective. I hope it's more drama than action. Again, I don't want all of this to be lightsaber go burr, pew 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 pew.
I'm happy we haven't had lightsabers.
Because I feel like it allowing itself to build on drama and dialogue and allow the writers to really shine has also really changed the way Star Wars has to be. Now they can be like, oh my gosh, we could actually make an entire movie with character development, which would have saved the sequels so much.
I wonder if a lot of people are going to come back and maybe watch Rogue One with a different
view yes, now. They are. And there's going to be a lot of people who've never seen Rogue One that are going to watch it now. And I'm sure.
If you haven't seen Rogue One, please go watch it.
It's well,
absolutely.
Or do you want to wait till the end of Andor now?
Well, yeah, wait till
it'll be a surprise.
Andor, but still.
Because spoiler for a movie that's been out for a while, Rogue One ends in a very, 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 very bright way. Yeah, real bright.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah. I do, and like I said, I'm just kind of scrolling through the video. Yeah. There's one scene on there at 25 minutes and 11 seconds into the movie or into the show if you're watching it on Disney Plus. At 25 minutes and 11 seconds, you get an amazingly clear view of something that Luthen brought with him to meet with Saw. And you see one of Saw's troopers standing right next to Luthen examining this thing. I don't know what it is. But
the baton?
Does it's a baton.
Yeah, his baton that he carries. But it's something.
It's something.
It's something. He goes, if you don't know what that is, just give it back. Like, it's not a stun baton. Because it's kind of like maybe wood, like maybe Rorschach wood from Kashyyyk. I don't know, but it's something probably real dangerous. It comes with his action figure too. I look forward to getting his blaster.
Does it really?
Yeah, the baton. I don't know what that baton is, but it looks like something.
Is it a baton or is it a handle?
Handle to what? Oh, a lightsaber? I mean, maybe.
He's got a ton of stuff from Kashyyyk.
Yeah.
We do know of a Wookiee.
We know of multiple
who's survived everything.
But we also know multiple Wookiee Jedi.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If he's got Jedi Temple Guard masks, I bet he could get a lightsaber out.
Yeah.
Now that they decanonized the fact that they burned all of them.
Yeah.
Or at least most of them, because in that comic, Yoda's was the first burned. But Luke now has it. So that's not canon anymore.
Right. And I mean, honestly, if we kind of look at that baton or look at it as it seems, yeah, it looks like a bar mace. If you look at it where there's grooves cut into it, you grab a hold of it, and it's just a good old classic bar mace. But it also, looking at it and kind of knowing how a lot of the lightsabers are constructed, and a lot of how they're used, they're held closer towards the hilt.
Yeah.
I mean, not the hilt, and not the shield. Close to the crossguard, basically. Yeah. But obviously, there's no crossguard on these sabers.
The emitter.
The emitter. Thank you. That's the word. They're held really close to the emitter, so that way you can get a lot of the better rotations coming into play.
Yeah.
it kind of makes me wonder, just based on the size of it, could that actually be a Wookiee lightsaber?
That looks
Because
like
it's
an emitter
huge.
at the end of it.
It
looks like an
does.
emitter at the end of it.
It really, really does.
And if not a Wookiee, I mean, it could be a Zabrak lightsaber. It could be like a warrior.
Yeah.
Because it looks like something that you could easily
Oh yeah.
two-handed wield.
Oh yeah, I got my hand and a half sword right there. I
Yeah.
can easily show what that does.
Right, exactly. But at the same time, we have no idea. It's gorgeous.
Oh yeah. And it makes questions.
It makes a lot of questions. But yeah, as the guy's just looking around, he's like, "Trust me, you want to."
Does he look at it like I can't remember?
That's a good idea. If you're watching it, look through that scene real quick. Does he actually look into it, and then he says, "If you don't know what that is, you should give it back."
Let me back it up and watch.
Yeah, we got because if he
this
does,
is
if he
really
looks
pushing
down it,
the Jedi theory more.
if he looks down it and he says something like that about him like trying to activate it or something, then it's a fucking lightsaber.
Because in the picture, it has the guy.
Yeah, he's
just
kind of
in
like
a
doing
still
the.
from the show. He's holding it like this. But
Hold on.
definitely.
That would be. I think that would definitely put a lot more oomph into him having some
ladies
sort
and
of.
gentlemen, it has buttons.
It has buttons.
Oh, this is pushing the lightsaber
Oh
thing.
man.
It has 2 buttons that looks like rivets.
Uh-huh.
But there's a rivet in the middle of the wood.
All right, I'm gonna have to. We'll be
doing that
I will be
later.
doing a breakdown video. Don't worry. Now that this is taking more tuition.
Good find.
Yeah,
I would have glossed
there will be
over
pictures and there will be explanations in the video to come this week.
that. I got too attached to too into Luthen's fighting and everything, so I was like, no,
Within the week,
whatever.
I should say. The video will be within the week.
Within.
That is a great yes, but the buttons are good. Now, yeah, I still have to check though about how he when he warns him about, give it back. Wow.
Oh no, that's an emitter.
Yeah.
Because you can actually see whenever Luthen takes it back into his hand, you see a hole right in the base of it. I do believe that might be a Wookiee saber. Now that's
is it a
reach.
Wookiee? But it a Wookiee saber?
That's true.
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be.
Because if
a lightsaber is made from
make
anything that mostly
whatever,
a lot of people use things to remind them of their home planet.
It could be something that is personal to him. It could be, I'm liking this Jedi thing more.
Oh man! All right, is Luthen an ex-Jedi? Which he would then, of course, especially if he knows what happened, because he saw the same things that Kenobi saw, he would hate.
It would explain the Padme connection.
Wait, and it would put even more weight when he says, "I'm damned to use my enemy's methods to destroy them." He has to turn to the dark side.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
He has to go as evil as he can to destroy the evil inside Palpatine and Vader.
No. Ah. It'll explain the Padme connection. It'll explain the Rakatan Empire knowledge and how he knows everything about everything in his shop. Because yes, you can. If you're a historian, you'll know things and you'll study things in this kind of culture.
But the Jedi archives, yeah,
Jedi archives, and having access to that knowledge and the holocrons.
Yes, I was exactly about to say that. I'm glad we're on the same wavelength again.
Not only the holocrons, a Sith holocron, which would have been locked away in the darkest vaults only Jedi Masters could have obtained.
And they're not out front. They're in his back office. They're not out for display.
Yep.
It is a Sith and a Jedi holocron.
Side by side. Just
might be a classical gray Jedi.
Ooh.
If he's a reintegration of a gray Jedi.
Maybe Pathfinders?
It'd be the canon X would do like a Pathfinder that if they were a part of the Jedi Order in the High Republic. They are Jedi that follow the Force only. They don't even listen to the Council. They call themselves Jedi, but they're like, no, I just follow the Force. It's whatever the Force wants.
Which would actually, that would make sense as to why he's not a part of everything. Yeah. Whenever everything goes down, if he was
had left the Order,
Pathfinder, he would have been a Wayseeker.
Yeah,
Wayseeker. So yeah, he wouldn't have been in the middle of everything.
Oh, true. Especially if he is a Wayseeker, because they were out finding children. he could have been out in the galaxy somewhere with a ship that would have great countermeasures because he's protecting children on it.
I think
Maybe.
if we come back, you're gonna have to come next week. So
Yeah,
we can
if
talk
we
about
find out
all
he's a
this.
Jedi, you're gonna have to. But that is amazing to think about what his lightsaber would mean if it is. I mean, but he also
it could
he
be a
could
key.
just
We don't know.
yes, it could be a key, could be a really nice torch, could be a stun
It
baton.
could be a handle to a stick shift of something.
Yeah.
It could have a machete blade like pop out of it. It's just like a really weird looking sword. At the same time, it could be a lightsaber, and he's not a Jedi at all, and he just has a lightsaber, and he knows how to use it because he's very studied.
It could be anything.
And and if we look at his age, because one of the things that we can do is actually put him into a little bit of a timeline here.
Yeah.
If we look at his age, he's roughly about the same age that. No, he would be a little bit older than Kenobi. He would actually be a lot closer to what Qui-Gon would be.
Qui-Gon, Palpatine, like he's old.
Yeah.
He's an elder gentleman.
Qui-Gon,
Dooku, yeah, definitely. He's a little younger than Dooku.
Somewhere in that age range.
Yeah, between Qui-Gon and Dooku.
It could also explain. Well, no, that's the spy stuff would explain that. But being able to switch between characters and everything so quickly, and being able to,
but it would have been
do all of that.
The falling of the Jedi, but still they believe a heyday. They believe their golden era still. Maybe we don't know how the High Republicans. But that would explain why he has the ability to just kind of, I don't know. There's a lot there.
He also
there's
could
a lot there.
Be
wow.
A race that is like maybe can live longer, but not as long as Yoda species.
Maybe. I mean,
or something. I don't know.
I would love if, speaking of random force species, I would love if they would bring Amira Luca into canon finally.
I don't know who that is.
KOTOR 2 is the start of them. It is the people that do not have eyes. They see with the Force, but they're humans. But they literally don't have eyes. They only see with the Force.
Okay. That would be an interesting thing to bring up.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Blind and seen with the Force. That kind of ties things in with Rogue One a little bit.
Yeah.
What if instead of him being a Wayseeker or a Wayfinder, he was...
Well, he says he's blind. And
yeah.
he talks about being blind.
Yeah, he talks about being blind.
Yeah.
So
and if the Amira Luca are real, there would only be a few of them. Depending on how canon they make it, because Darth Nihilus in KOTOR 2 literally absorbs the Force on their entire planet, killing everyone on it and the planet itself. Because, ancient Sith Lord. More powerful. Oh, it's a lightsaber. What color is it? That's even more questions now. What if it's red? What if it's red?
I don't want to see lightsabers in this show, but now I really want to see a lightsaber.
Yeah, as long as it's Luthen.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed with seeing.
He doesn't have to be a Jedi to have a lightsaber.
I hate how I missed that part.
Bro could be from the Acolytes of the Beyond or another Force cult, actually, too. He doesn't even have to be. I keep forgetting there are so many other Force cults out there. Oof.
I'm gonna look closer to the inside of the Fondor and see what's in
white or red.
Yeah. We're gonna have to really scoop the Fondor up. I'm gonna have to do a lot more diving and picture taking and zoom enhance on that lightsaber hilt. I mean baton. That grip at the bottom though, that's a hand grip. That's a hand grip.
You and me would add all three.
As people who use weapons and fight with swords, that is a hand grip on a sword.
Oh look, swords.
There are
swords. Yeah.
All the swords.
So over there.
Still gotta polish those.
Oh, fun. Polish party.
Yeah.
All right. And that would make so many more sense as to why the Fondor would have mostly defensive capabilities if he was a Force user.
If he was a Wayseeker, then that would make even more sense because he would have everything ready because they already established that Force sensitive children were at risk.
Yeah.
With the bounty hunters hunting them down in that one episode.
Yeah, and the Inquisitors and all that stuff.
Well, this was before then.
Yeah.
Before the fall of the Empire, or before the fall of the Republic. So he would have had all those countermeasures ready to go and be able to do all this stuff quickly. So maybe that's why he has everything ready. Yeah, and it's a big enough ship. He could have kids there.
Oh, he could put he could put a lot of stuff on there. He could store giant relics that he takes back
Exactly.
to Coruscant.
I mean, it's a Holocraft. That's
Yeah.
literally what it's for.
Yeah. So, I mean, that would kind of explain it in one part, but I mean, the spy thing also explains it, and then just being a prepared person in general.
Yeah, he's also
it.
he's like, oh no, actually, I just have all this because I'm extremely well prepared. I'm very smart. I'm running a rebellion, and I'm rich.
And he can explain it away with being a treasure hunter.
If he doesn't have special powers at all, and he's just really rich and well planned out, you guys know that this does make him Star Wars Batman. Yeah, I just
does that
thought
make
of
Andor a Robin?
Yeah, Andor's Robin, and he's Star
That
Wars
explains
Batman.
why he dies.
Yeah.
For all you DC fans out there, I'm sorry. I had to hit that target.
Oh, wow.
Oh no.
The best part about that is the real G's who watch this whole video are gonna have an awesome fucking joke towards the end.
Yes.
Oh, that was stellar. That we have Batman and Robin in Star Wars, ladies and gentlemen.
No.
Luthen
Not
and Andor.
confirmed. Theory.
Yes, if it's not something even cooler, at least he's Batman.
I mean, we already know who Alfred is.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, she'd fucking kill somebody.
Oh, bro.
I was expecting her to do something to Vala.
Yeah, when that lady walked in, I expected her to grab her blonde hair and be like, hey, I told you to leave. You know, that's not how we play games here.
Right.
We have a system?
You communicate through the system.
Yeah, she wasn't even speaking in code. She was just straight out there, my mom, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, lady, whoa, you've ruined, like, if anyone's listening, we're done. You've done it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
She was getting so mad too at whenever Bix was doing everything. Mm-hmm. Whenever Bix was doing the contacting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but it's all crazy because I mean, look at how Saul was with Luthen when Luthen was like, "Man, Krieger is gonna get taken. You can get taken with him, or you can stay here. I'm giving you the choice because I don't want to lose you." And he tried to hide it, and he was hiding it behind because you actually know me, and I don't want to get got. But of course, I think it was like, I actually care about you. You have way more men, so you have to be okay. Like, I would rather not sacrifice all of my rebellion soldiers to one mission to keep the Empire sated.
And whenever Saul said, "This is war,"
yeah,
chills.
The fact he's willing to sacrifice, and that Saul is seeing that he's willing to sacrifice somebody else who is a prominent figure in this rebellion stuff, I think it cements Saw's not affection, admiration loosely, but also scares him a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, he was also pissed though. Like, that was the thing, is he was Saul doesn't trust anyone, like, again, to his detriment. But he was like, he almost was at Luthen's throat there for the longest time about this. Like, well, why? Maybe I should go anyway. Maybe you should go. Maybe, like, why would you tell me this? Are you an Imperial spy? I don't know. It got heavy because Saul has no trust for anyone. I mean, Luthen even jokingly, obviously through his tone, he's like, yeah, it's Tubes. That's my inside guy. And Saul's like,
oh yeah, and the fact that Tubes just walked right up and Luthen's just like, all right, fine. Look, I ain't gonna shoot you, but if you don't pay attention.
Which I love Luthen because that was his whole plan. He was like, I'm gonna get them to feud. I don't need to bring a gun. They'll bring the gun to me.
Yep. And that tells me everything. That's a spy.
You're right.
That is years and years and years and years of work.
Right. That's James Bond. Like, he does not need a gun. You'll bring it to him. He doesn't need to, like, raise his voice ever.
It's dispelling the Naboo theory, furthering the Jedi, or working for the Separatist theory.
Yeah. That'd be so cool if you worked for the Separatists. I would not have seen that coming at all. Honestly, I think whatever's going to happen is going to be cool. Luthen's character is amazing. The writing has been so good so far. And the series has just been phenomenal.
I'm loving the Easter eggs. I know I say that all the time, but, like, I just love how we get these little snippets of lore or some kind of random thing that no one else really cares about, but it's just so much fun.
Well, it's a lot of background stuff, and it's a lot of, like, filler, but in good ways. So it's like Easter eggs that allow us to connect dots and really push things together, and that's always fun to me. Being able to connect dots in a timeline are very important, especially with Star Wars. That's why I love Star Wars so much, because unlike Marvel and unlike DC, this is the one huge franchise that is a congruent timeline. One, that's
Mhm.
it. Even though we have the world between worlds, it hasn't been dicked with, thankfully enough, to the point where there are
Yes.
separate timelines. It is
Mhm.
one timeline. That's it.
It's weird because it's kind of like it self-corrects itself.
Yeah.
If anything happens.
That's the
World
Force,
Between
though.
Worlds.
Yeah, the Force self-corrects itself, not allowing it to get too messed up.
Because, like, we could have had all the stuff with Ahsoka, but then she dies.
Fighting Vader in that temple.
But she doesn't die, actually.
Yeah.
So, for a little while, she is considered dead, but it's just she's gone. She's not there anymore. So.
Yeah.
And I don't want him to use the world between worlds. Leave it alone.
It was a good thing for
Yeah.
Rebels, for kind of going into some stuff, showing.
If you want to use it to get
Ezra.
flashbacks or to like show Old Republic and stuff,
do it.
fine. But don't
Don't
actually fuck with timelines. I don't want to see Palpatine ever come back again, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
No.
I am so done with Palps. Done.
Cool
I
character.
will. Yeah.
I'll take a cackle every now and then, but that's about it.
And if you really need to explore his story, there's still a few tiny little smidgens of story you can try to squeeze out of the original timeline. But leave it alone.
He can't.
Who's back there sleeping?
Yep.
But it's not something that we really need to like. We can move on from all the Skywalkers. We can move on from Palpatine, from the Empire. There are so many other, and like the ships haven't changed that much, guys. Look at Old Republic ships. They look, you can tell who's the Empire and you can tell who's the Republic still. So you don't. Like, it's not like they're like breaking the bank with creativity. It's Star Wars. Just make it something different for us. Andor is proof of that. It has no correlations to the Skywalkers at all. The only thing tying them together are the Stormtroopers are the same bad guys. That's it. It's awesome.
Well, no. Padme's headdress. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. Easter eggs don't count. Easter eggs are always meant to throw things around.
Yep.
I just had to.
Yeah.
Now, Kit Kat, can I help you?
Yes.
It loved me.
Pets and love and Star Wars is not cat. I am cat.
Star Wars is not cat. We need more Lothal cats.
Yes.
Dude. Or those little weird pug cats from Tales of the
Yes.
Jedi.
I love that.
Lothal cats.
Lothal cats. I'm more of a
Yes.
Lothal wolf kind of guy. That was way cooler.
Well, yeah.
And they're
We
huge.
actually have a loft cat, so I
Build-A-Bear
would go
makes a
grab
pretty
it,
good
but the
loft
baby
cat.
has it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But no, I really kind of close this out. I really do think that this upcoming episode is going to be stellar. It's going to rock a lot of
Do we
people's
have a time?
socks.
Do you have how long it's going to be yet?
I just looked it up. It will be roughly 49 minutes,
Oh,
and
okay.
Reddit says
49
Not
minutes is
conclusive.
good. I'm happy with 49
49
minutes.
minutes.
49 is
So,
great.
That just means
That's
they
a
have to
good
condense
balance.
everything. And they're at
I
a
wish
good
it was
spot.
longer, but I'm okay with this.
Right. But the crazy thing is, I think we'll be able to tell within the first 10 minutes how gnarly the episode is going to be by how fast it is.
Yeah.
If he's already getting to Ferrix and things are already starting to take off, the whole episode's going to
It
be
means-
boom, 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 boom,
I think
boom,
it's
boom,
going to
boom.
open on Ferrix.
On Ferrix? Okay.
I think it's going to open on Ferrix. It's going to have him, maybe have like
He's
a
gotta
scene
get a
of
ship.
it. That's not a big deal.
I mean, he's got a lot of credits.
Yeah, he has a lot of credits.
And a gun.
He could buy his own ship.
We could.
I still
So-
love, I still think my favorite Easter egg so far, though, is that his blaster he uses is the same blaster that Kyle Katarn used in Dark Empire.
But I think it's going to open on Ferrix, and then I think it is going to be a lot of espionage type shit, trying to get to him, and then maybe some explosions, and we find out where Luthen's from.
Space Batman and Space 007 are going to team up. And it's going to be a good time.
All in the same person.
All in the same, all there, right there, one package. Luthen appreciation post, Luthen appreciation podcast right here. Oh my god, that guy is so dope. Those last few moments with him in that ship made me fall in love with him. I thought the figure was out. You can ask her. I went nuts. Like, we got to get this figure. I've got to get this figure. I need Luthen's action figure.
And I'm just sitting here going, I don't think it's out yet.
It's not till like August.
Yep, it's gonna be a bit, Chris.
It's gonna be
It's
a
gonna
bit,
be
but
a bit.
that's fine. That's fine. Again, guys, thank you so much for joining us, though. We look forward to seeing you next week, again at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, to talk about the finale of Andor series on Disney+. Put your comments down below for what you think Luthen is, or what you think Luthen is, man, myth, or legend. And please, please, please make sure to comment, subscribe, like, share, all the fun things. Have an amazing rest of your evening. And as always, may the Force serve you well.
Nice.
And now we do the fun waiting, and then I end the stream because I don't want to end the stream too early or else. All right. Here we go.